he runs over a dude in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
You know, he goes through that motherfucker. He goes over the fucking hood.
What's your favorite scary movie? Swallow this.
Everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Arrow and the Head Show. Of course, it makes me Lance, and my cohort over there, right across the pond, is the Arrow himself, Mr. John Fallon. John, how have you been?
I'm good, dude. Sorry, guys and dolls. I'm wearing sunglasses because I'm a bit hungover, very hungover. I went out last night to the Frolic Room in Hollywood. Actually, let me show you a view from my fucking balcony. So yeah, I went to the Frolic Room. It's like a fucking dive bar in Hollywood that was like established in the 30s, and it was a drink to all my friends. That
Charles
was,
Bukowski.
yeah, man. That was his one of his choice dives, and yeah, no, it's pretty fucking money, man. I really had a good time, good friends, good drinks. I'm just feeling it today, so look, hey, so there you go. Well, look, I'm pretty pumped about today's episode because once again, we're talking about one of my fucking favorites, and I rewatched it a couple days ago. Holds up like a fucking champ. But before we get into the 1987, the hidden, what's on the fucking menu with drinks, bruh?
I got something called an Island Lager by Longboard. Kona Brewing Company. This bad boy is out of ba, 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 Portland.
Is it good?
Yeah, I mean, I just need something a little easy, a little something. I feel like a good lager is just an old fashioned beer to me. So, not too bad. What about you, man?
I'm just continuing the. I'm still on the train, from last night, so I'm still on the train today.
Monday.
Yeah, I'm having some Maker's Mark.
What's that? Hi, John, what time is it by you, real quick? You want to just give me the K or
I'm
the
not.
S?
I'm not saying shit, man. I'm not saying shit. I'm not saying shit, bro.
Hey,
But
man.
it's 5 o'clock somewhere, right? That's the old saying, right?
That
So
is fair. That is fair. I might well enjoy your whiskey at
I will.
this good hour and cheers, man.
Cheers to you, my man. Cheers to all of you. Let's get cranking.
Hello, my friends! Hey!
With the hidden Jack Shoulders best film, hands down.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, I got to be honest. It's been a while since I've seen this. I'd like to just out of the gate say that I think Jack Sholder did a bang up job directing. I know we've talked about Nightmare on Elm Street 2, but just in terms of directing, I'm talking shot composition, movement, flow. I was actually a little impressed. I was like, man, I feel like maybe I've slept on Mr. Shoulder because I didn't remember this being as inventive as it is.
Really, really. No, I always, that's the thing with the hidden. And by the way, guys and dolls, if you have not seen the hidden, press stop on this shit. Go watch it. Like, really, watch it. And come back and then, listen to our drivel. But the hidden is just rock solid all around. And we could end the show right now. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that movie. It never stops. That's what I love about the movie. From the opening, with the guy with the hidden inside of him, and on the the fucking recorder in the bank. Boom, gets in the fucking car, huge chase, and then the movie never stops. It's always moving forward. It's propulsive, I guess would be the word, and just highly engaging from top to bottom. But it's just rock solid.
I think the first time I saw this, I was in my mid-20s. It wasn't something I kind of grew up on. The first time I saw it actually was in Chicago. They used to do these like cool movie marathons, different places. But what you do is you'd have like 10 films and you'd have random directors come do the Q&As. I remember this was one of them. And I remember thinking like, oh, I remember the cover. I haven't seen it. That's be a fun one. Jack Sholder showed up and I remember watching it. So I will admit I'm a little late to the game, but I want to jump in and say you are 100%, especially after we watched it again last night. In terms of pacing, I would say this is a great example of exactly how it's done. I don't ever feel like I'm missing something, and it doesn't lag, or I don't ever feel like I'm not getting enough character development to where it's just sort of actiony fun. Like, you get to know Kyle MacLachlan, you get to know
Michael Nuri.
Nuri, which I got to be honest, this entire time, he looks so much like Chris Sarandon, it was stressing me out. I was like, is this what? Just hire Chris Sarandon. Because I was like, oh, that's a guy from Fright Night. I don't remember him being in this, and it's like, that's not him at all. Not him at all. But I mean, but you get to grow these people, and I don't feel like they're shortchanged for the action. Because, it reminds me of I Come in Peace. Damn good double feature, because it has that sort of action first.
Yeah.
Explosion, gunfight, but that cool horror sci-fi stuff that we love. So I just want to throw it out there, man, that I want to say this mixes really well, and in a way that we don't do this really now. This is very, very mid 80s, very, or late, I guess.
Yeah.
Same shit.
Yeah. 87, whatever.
Yeah, same.
Shit. So first you have the premise, which is basically Terminator meets Body Snatchers. So right there, it's ingenious, on its own. Bad alien, good alien, chasing bad alien. Bad alien, I mean, a man from my own heart, loves metal, loves Ferraris, loves hot, hot chicks, but then when he becomes a chick, well, he likes his own titties.
I was gonna say he still likes hot chicks. He's like, ooh.
Yeah, he's like, holy shit. Was it me, or was that like a little hot moment there, man? I was kind of feeling that shit. She's playing with her boobies, and she's kind of like, yeah, I like these fuckers,
I mean, it's funny because as a guy, you'd think that if you were a girl for a day, that'd be the first thing you would do. And as an alien being a woman, that's the first thing it does.
But then she fucks that dude to death.
Yeah. Well, so, this aliens is a thing of pleasures. That's how I looked at it.
Yeah. He's what's the word? Hedonist. Right?
Hedonist.
That's the word. Him too. Yeah, I never liked him, but yeah, him too. Yeah. So the way that the movie communicates its story, it's driven. It's exactly what a great action movie is supposed to do. Is that it moves its story forward through action. The story moves forward through action. And then you have these little moments, with Kyle MacLachlan and Michael Nuri going to the house, and little family moments, character development, whatnot, which have like some great organic humor, which I really like fish out of water content, like the Aqua Seltzer, or and then he puts the fucking aspirin in it and shit. Yeah, it's really cool. Great dynamic, great chemistry between all the actors. Practical stunts, crazy fucking chases. Guns galore. I mean, of course, I'm sure you too. I saw it as a kid. The scene with the stripper, Claudia Christian, God bless her, marked me big time as a kid, man.
The dollar bill thong. Oh my God.
Yeah. I was like, what the hell? Yeah. And it's funny because I read that they didn't think her boobies were big enough, which I totally disagree, by the way.
Is that why they didn't show them? Because that's my big complaint. I have a negative for later on, and that's it.
Yeah. So they emphasize on her butt instead, But I thought her boobies were fine personally, and I thought she was very sexy and very beautiful. And when she's like on all fours, with that song that I'm sure you hate, a bad girl. She's a bad girl.
I don't remember the song at all.
I remember all the music. I remember all the music, man.
Let me say this. So I would say for the most part, I thought the music worked. Like, though it's not necessarily my thing, the opening song, I don't know who it was. It sounded like it might have been like I didn't want to say it because I'm not good at that kind of stuff. Especially
it was a heavy metal song, and I remember just the chorus. On your knees. Dun, 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 dun.
But it fits. The guy's speeding. He's like taking his car down the ramp, and it has a cool little, I don't know, Iron Maiden-ish type of like hi. And I was like, okay, I like this. I'm down. Let's rock out, man. So I got to say real quick that there was no music in here that I was annoyed by. I actually thought the music fit the alien's personality, and I thought that was cool. He likes rock and roll, metal, and cars.
Yeah. I know. I mean, dude, it's basically me. That alien is me. So yeah, dude, and of course, when he takes the second body, the first one, then he the hidden goes into, the other dude. Of course he's an arms dealer. Of course he is. Why wouldn't he be? And he has that room filled with weapons. And the second, I had forgotten that scene when he goes and visits like the place with the hidden goes to visit the place that the guy owns that he's possessed. Guns everywhere, man. I'm like, oh shit. Here we go, man. Here we go. And yeah, and they really capitalize on it. So the shootouts are great. You know, not sound like an old, but like they don't make movies like this anymore, man. And it's still kind of carrying that, you know, the shit that Rambo left us with or Commando left us with, like shootouts that are excessive and extreme. I love those, dude.
A lot of just straight gunfire, automatic weapons. Do you notice that? You know, the guy I got his name down because I like him a lot. He's a character actor, Chris Mulkey. I don't know. He plays the first alien body guy. You know, and after that entire scene, he gets out of the car.
Yeah,
and nothing's in his hands. Like very just like almost like giving up, and they just gunshots and
blow up the fucking car. Blow up the fucking car.
He gets out, is unarmed, and they just go to town. I was like, I miss the kind of movies like this because you know, it's schlocky, but it's like that schlocky that I like.
Doesn't he? He does a funny reaction, doesn't he? He gets out of the car kind of like, meh.
It's just he looks all like confused, like he lost.
He's fucking smiling. Hey, we had a good time, boys, and they just blow the shit out of that car, man.
It was fun. Awesome. It's fun, but for no reason. But that's what I'm saying. I like that because you were absolutely right, and that's why I was saying earlier about Jack Sholder and his directing, which is this is a well-directed action film. Yeah. And you could screw up action. He's easy. Action isn't easy to direct, and I've never done it, but I just know because I've seen a lot of shitty action. And just exactly like his coverage, the gunplay. You know, I always know where I'm at. I always have like a sense of direction.
It's a shootout. It's a shootout and a chase.
Yes,
that's the movie.
Yeah,
so chase, you can't go wrong with that. You know?
No, this is a good example of something that is so simple and so effective, but cannot be easily done. You told me about The Hidden too. I never even saw it. I actually looked up for this video, and I was like, oh. But I'm saying like if I were to try to replicate this, I don't think it'd be done that easy. I think there's a lot more skill that involved that makes something like this seem so fun and smooth.
And I love that the movie basically put its cards down on the table really with the opening scene. So with the opening scene, I mean he runs over a dude in a wheelchair.
Yeah,
you know, he goes through that motherfucker. He goes over the fucking hood. You know, and then you know, and one of my favorite stunts in the movie is the guys that are carrying the glass.
Okay, I wrote it down. I don't think I've seen that in a while. Like, yeah, legit. You know, I've seen it in Wayne's World 2. I've seen it in other things, but it's like, oh my god, this is a legit pane of glass being carried by two workers across the street. I was like, that's awesome.
They got to carry it somehow.
I know, but I mean, you know, made that how happy that made me. It's like, holy shit, this is the scene. This is it. I've been looking for this my whole life. So I don't even know if I've even seen the real scene, you know?
And it's a beautiful stunt. I mean,
it's awesome.
Those fucking, like those stunt guys, you know, God bless, man. They go over that fucking car like champs, bro. So, you know, so basically just with the opening, the movie saying, yo, we don't give a fuck. We're going to go to town. So we're just letting you know, really out the gate, we're going to go to town. And the movie completely goes to town, you know, from the guy... From the guy stealing cassettes. God bless cassettes, by the way. It brought me back to the old days. Stealing cassettes and beating the shit out of that fucking with the fucking stick.
The record owner guy was like, hey, what are you?
It's a bit like Grand Theft Auto, the video game. You know the video game Grand Theft Auto?
Of course. I grew up on it, man. Yeah.
Where you do whatever the fuck you want. You know, you're fucking beating people up. You're stealing cars. It's Grand Theft Auto, man. Grand Theft Auto owes a lot to the hidden, I think. You know.
You're right though, because within the first minute, it sets up the tone. Because remember, he goes and murders her. It has a bank camera set up, and the guy in the beginning goes and shoots at all these people. Yeah. Then looks at the camera, smiles, and they just speed into rock and roll music, having the time of his life. It's like that tone right there is like, oh, we're gonna have a fun time. Yeah. And then it's like, oh no, it's also an alien movie. It's like, even better. Keep it coming.
And I think there's a couple of movies that owe a lot to the hidden. I think the hidden, again, I said, you know, Terminator meets Body Snatchers, which, you know, in my useless opinion is very accurate. But I think the hidden, you know, the Peacemaker, I think it was called by Kevin Tenney, owes a lot to the hidden. I Come in Peace owes a lot to the hidden. So I think it influenced a lot of movies afterwards more than it gets credit for. And it, you know, it's unfortunate because it's a movie that didn't really make much money when it came out. It kind of became a cult classic, got discovered on VHS, on cable, and shit like that. But it's a shame. Actually, little fucking piece of trivia. I just want to take a moment and just talk about Michael Nouri, who, you know, I knew from Flashdance, and then, you know, The Hidden, and then poof, gone. That motherfucker, like, I checked him out, and I know he's doing TV. He did TV a lot.
Okay, so he became a TV guy.
Became a TV guy, but I was like, why the fuck did this guy poof vanish? Chris Sarandon too, you know, how did he vanish after like Flashdance, which was a mega hit, and The Hidden, you know, wasn't a mega hit, but a cult classic. But I love that guy, man. He's got screen presence to burn, dude. And I mean, word on the street, I actually know some people that know him, and word on the street, he was a bit difficult on set. But
really?
you know, yeah, but I don't take that shit seriously, because everybody says shit like that about everybody in the film industry, you know. I'm sure there's somebody out there saying, oh, John Fallon, that guy's a prick, and they're absolutely right, by the way, but that's besides the point. But everybody talks about everybody, so maybe he was, maybe he wasn't, who knows. But you know,
he's good.
He's a classic leading man, and you know, I wish I would have seen more of him in features.
Yeah, he played the grizzled cop perfectly. I mean, this was that exact 80s role that I want. He was so good. He was always stressed out.
he turned down the Martin Riggs role in Lethal Weapon to do The Hidden, which they were both shot the same year.
I mean, Gibson, you know, could do circles around this guy. No offense. So I think that's that was the right choice in the world of film. But I got to be honest, I know I feel bad, because can you imagine that has to haunt a man like this? Because it would haunt me, because that is probably the role that would have made him if in some weird alternate universe that happened.
Yeah, I guess it's a bit like Will Smith with Wild Wild West instead of Matrix.
Yeah, like you know, it didn't happen in my reality, but maybe another reality that would have catapulted the career. But no, Sarandon, I was going to call him Chris Sarandon. Oh my God. Nouri is goodness. Him and McLaughlin really play out well with each other. Yeah. In terms of acting, I wrote down, I think what makes this movie so good is that besides badass action, is it's filled with great character actors. Yeah. Like I wrote, you know, the guy at the beginning, McClaney, I feel bad for not knowing his name. He's in just random stuff, but he's good whenever he is. Edo Ross, who was in Universal Soldier.
And Red Heat.
Yeah, I mean, that guy's awesome. I swear in my life, I'm a big Payback guy, speaking of Gibson, and Stegman in that movie is played by David Paymer, I think his name. And I swear he's next to the pimp when the girl's walking outside of the strip club. Maybe. So somebody, you know, so anybody in the comments, please confirm that, because I couldn't find him. He might be uncredited, but it looks and sounds like Stegman.
You know what, Val? This one's on me, okay? See me reaching for my fucking wallet? How you doing? Hey!
But either way, we have the bad guy from The Crow too. I don't remember him being this at all. The boss from Return of the Living Dead, he's in this as well.
Yeah, Clue, Gulager, yeah.
Dude, that's like, this movie is jam-packed.
Hey, and Lin Shaye.
Yeah, Lin Shaye, is the entourage.
The politician's rep or something. Yeah. Which actually brings me to let's talk about the stuff we didn't like, which is you know what, I always had a hard. I know the original ending of the movie was the alien gets away with it, becomes president, and the world ends. That was the original ending.
I didn't look into any that stuff. That's funny though, because I think the very ending is another thing I don't like.
Yeah, me too. It's a weird ending. And, you know, that's the only thing I really didn't truly get in the film, because they kind of hinted at something, but never really told us what they were hinting at. When Kyle MacLachlan meets the daughter, and she's kind of like onto him, you know, it's obvious. She kind of knows something that the grown-ups don't.
Yeah.
She thinks
it's a weird interaction.
Yeah. And he even says, you know, you have a very special daughter or something along the lines. And then at the end, Michael Nouri's character dies, and he basically possesses him, and then now, you know, he's, you know, a father with a wife and a kid, and the kid again is onto him. She could tell, that's not my dad, you know, that's the alien dude from before. What the fuck was that all about? What's special about the little girl? How come she knows he's an alien? Why are they not developing this? If you're going to put it out there, then go with it, but why are you not developing this? It's hinted at, and it kind of bothered me a bit. And it's kind of creepy too. The dude dies and he takes over, like, really, he's going to be banging the guy's wife. And
Pretending to be him. No,
pretending to be him. I mean, it's kind of weird.
I wrote. It's funny. I wrote this exact same thing down, and we didn't talk about this prior, so I have no idea what your thought process is. But it should have ended at the assassination because I did not get. I was like, "What the fuck is this? Like a sequel setup? Like why would you have what's his name? Nori's character, Beck, Tom Beck. Why would you have Tom Beck die? I don't like that. That doesn't for an '80s movie exactly like this. I do not like that. Like he needs to live.
I agree.
Like what are we doing here? It's a fun action movie. But yes, then he dies, and then he just takes over his body, and he's just gonna hang out. I was like, why? Why would you like what the fuck? Why would we even add that? How about we just have him on the thing and like we hear the doctor's like, well, he's gonna make it. He like just give me that. Like fuck, it's almost like we're trying to add more story at the very end, but it's like I don't want that story. The alien should have died, or I don't know, maybe a Capex thing and gone back home. But the fact that we're even continuing the story after the assassination is, to me, like a very awkward development. And I agree. It actually makes it look weird. It's like, it was weird when he was talking to the little girl, too, I'll be honest. Like, I understand it was probably wasn't weird back in 1987, but at this point, we're just like staring at her. It's like, your daughter's real special.
Your little girl, she's very special.
I'm like, get the fuck out of my house.
Yeah. No, it's definitely weird. And again, maybe some of our viewers, right, watching, maybe you guys have more insight into this than we do, but I really don't get what they were trying to do with that subplot, if you will. I really don't get it.
It's not a happy ending.
No, it's not, because I'm not happy that Beck is dead and this weird ass alien took his body and is going to be nailing his wife. I don't know. It's
and raising the kid.
And raising the kid who's special somehow. I don't know why. Is she an alien? I don't fucking know. I thought that too. I'm like, is she an alien? For all I know.
Yeah,
maybe she's an alien.
I don't remember that part, but they set up something and then it just never happened. Yeah, but again, he didn't understand Tylenol. So how he's going to raise a kid?
Yeah.
He could kind of get away with it being weird with his partner because they just have a focused goal. But if he has to like pay taxes, make sure the mortgages is in on time, like there's a lot of stuff this guy doesn't know how to do. And I'm like, what's the plan, guys? But I mean, I'm picking on it. It should have ended with the flamethrower because I like that part a lot. I like that they set that up at the beginning of the movie, and I didn't even remember it. I didn't remember the ending. I actually thought he shot him with that weird silver gun. Yeah. But he pulls out the fucking flamethrower. I was like, set up and payoff. Set up and payoff.
Big time. Another aspect we didn't really talk about. I know we talked about negative things, and that's pretty much it for me. Negative, really, is the ending.
I have one more. Well, it's very, very specific. And it's a nitpick, so it's not a big deal. In the very beginning, they're kind of playing this really fun, like metal song. But every time they show the car from an outside perspective, they cut the song off. And I was like, I fucking hated that. I was like, dude. Because every time he's in the car, they have the perspective in the car. It's like, bada, but they kept cutting outside the car like every 4 seconds. I'm like, can I just rock out to the song? Can you just let the song play for a second, buddy? Because they didn't do that the rest of the movie. They just did the very beginning chase. And I just
but you don't like metal. What do you care?
But you lean into your song though. I mean, if you keep cutting out of it, it's like a really awkward edit. I don't know. I don't agree with it. I let it play. Well,
because you're far off. When we're in the car, you hear the music. When we're out, when it's like a wide shot, I could understand that we wouldn't hear the music. Or maybe,
but it's not that wide. No, I'm talking like the camera is essentially on the door. Like it cuts out. There's no reason for it. So it's just a weird edit. It's a weird edit.
Actually, speaking of music, that's one thing we didn't address, but I also love the score. A very 80s action score. And I call it the helicopter score because you hear shoom, 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 shoom. It sounds like, a helicopter, a blade, going shoom, 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 shoom. And then it has these really like in your face keys, notes, whatever fucking it goes really like in your fucking face, just like the movie itself. So
it's a good score.
I love the score as well. Really accompanied the music, and the score really accompanied the movie, supported the movie. And fuck, man, there's so many like great little bits. One of my favorite little bits is when the alien possessed the lieutenant, I guess, the guy that gets
Yeah.
possessed by his dog.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just with a freaky scene too. Actually, really
Knocks him out.
well trained dog, by the way, doing the licking and yeah. Every time
Yeah.
the alien possesses somebody, he does like a thing with his tongue, some shit like that. Like, he's chowing down, and the dog does it too. But that guy, at some point, they have an interaction in the jail cell, and I love the dialogue. He says something to Kyle MacLachlan's character. How do you like being human, or something like that? It's fun. We could own this fucking place, kind of shit. And I was like,
we could take over this place if we wanted. They have nothing here to stop us.
if I was McLaughlin's character, I'd be like, you know what? He's absolutely right. And maybe we should, just have a good time. But then, they turn around and he's right there at the door of the jail with the fucking rocket launcher. And he says, goodbye. Then McLaughlin shoots him in the forehead and he goes and pew, and the rocket goes into a wall. Amazing scene, dude. Come on, man. That's fucking amazing, man. And the movie's filled with little bits like that. Even like the scene with the stripper and she fucks the dude to death, which was just kind of like so out of line. Door opens, he fucking falls out.
Yeah.
Like you hear him fucking. And at first it's nice, and he's like, she fucking screws the guy to death. He dies. I don't know, dude. It's
Well, hold on. What about the old-fashioned 80s blood squibs? Because everybody takes like 30 shots.
Yeah.
I like that. Everybody's just like, bah, bah, bah. Every single person, even the girl, it's just like she's getting shot up. I mean, that kind of shit's, it's small, but I miss blood squibs. And I love when I see them in this movie, because bullets can't take anybody down. Everybody gets like I said, 20, 30 of them. And it was fun, man.
Dude, when and that's again, to reinforce what I said before, the moments of organic humor really worked for me. There's just a bit where McLaughlin basically tells him, what's really going on. You're an alien, you're a spaceman, you're a spaceman too. And then he tells Beck, he goes, I guess a career in police enforcement did not prepare you for something like this. And he's like, oh, yes, it did. And then it cuts to prison fucking.
Yeah, I think well, it's when he's giving him the old talk where he has like the picture of him and he's, yeah. I was beginning to like you. I was like, oh, 80s cop, please. I love it.
Yeah. Dude, I'm crying, actually.
What about, I think one of my favorite scenes is when the second guy, the
fat guy.
Yeah.
Chubby guy.
Scummy looking guy wants that car. And so
the
car dealership is in the room, signing a contract, just giving the guy Coke, and the Coke comes out of like a little, it's a Ferrari or it's a little car, and the trunk opens with the Coke. He's like, I have a little more. He goes, gonna really love this car. He's like,
yeah. I was like, fuck, God bless the 80s, man. Where you buy a ride, the guy hooks you up with a racking couple lines.
Just getting him coked up to sign the contract. I love it. I was like, and that's just a small thing that doesn't need to be there, but it adds to it.
And I felt bad for that guy, man. He just bought a really hot car. He looked like a cool guy. Actually, I think that actor, if memory serves me right, is actually a producer on The Sopranos.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, the guy did nothing wrong. In fact, remember the dealer guy was like giving the keys to the car, and he goes, I just signed the contract. I'm like, oh, you poor bastard. That
was not cool. We're like talking about like stupidities at the moment, but just go with it, guys and dolls. Nobody gets hurt. But even the security dude, I felt bad for him that he got whacked. He looked like a cool dude.
Well, he wasn't enjoying it. He was just like, come on, guy. He was like,
come on, bro.
Yeah. How I would be like, dude,
give me a break, dude.
I'm just trying to work here. Come on, you little bum. Get out of here.
That's it. I mean, it's just a near flawless film, and even its flaws don't come close in tarnishing the greatness of everything, from the cast, the music, the action, the pacing, the editing, the shooting style, the un-PC attitude, running over dudes in wheelchairs, beating the shit of some other dude, then fucking a dude to death, grabbing the titties. And it's like this movie that, like I said, this is what this movie says, fuck you, I don't give a fuck, I'm going to have a good time. Either you jump on board and have a good time with me, or go fuck yourself. And that is the kind of movie I utterly respect.
Well, yeah, man. Support Jack Sholder, support Nori, support Kyle McLaughlin. And this is a fun little thing, man. So if you haven't seen it, I'm with John, dude. It's a fun time.
It's something. It's something. All right. I'm going to go back to the frolic room. So I'll send you a video later, bro.